Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, hoping that you're doing well today on a Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. TGI is Friday, whatever you want to say. You don't have to go to work tomorrow, hopefully, unless you're volunteering for the Special Olympics or you're broadcasting football games like yours truly is. So we're going to be busy this weekend. It continues to go on, the fourth annual Troy Cable Football Classic, Spring Football Classic from Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy. And last night, the Goshen Eagles beat Geneva County of Hartford yesterday afternoon 10-0. Congratulations to Coach Bart Snyder's team as they looked real good in that game. And of course, everybody was excited about seeing left-handed quarterback for Goshen, who everybody really thinks is going to be an outstanding player this year. Turned on the afterburners and scored a big touchdown, and of course going up against a very good team from Hartford. I'm sure Coach Bart Snyder very pleased with the way it ended, but of course it was a big game and a lot of people out there. I was over at Charles Henderson High School last night for Awards Day, and boy, if it wasn't some surprises for me, I'm telling you, probably the surprise of my life. They gave a scholarship in my name, and my daughter, who presented the scholarship, was sitting right behind me. I didn't even know it, but I do appreciate Charles Henderson High School and of course my family for doing that. It's something that will be lasting, and hopefully my family will appreciate it every year, and we appreciate them doing it for me. Of course, we've got other games today, a big selection of games today. We've got Florella versus Isabella at 3, and then the huge game tonight against the Wetumpka Indians of Wetumpka, Alabama, going head-to-head with Paul Bryant of Tuscaloosa. Now we've got a big triple header starting tomorrow morning at 11:30. You got Hewitt Trustful of Birmingham versus Robert A. Lee of Montgomery. Then at 3 o'clock you got Cordova out of North Alabama versus W.S. Neal. And then the finale is a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Two of the finest high school teams in America in Colquitt County, Georgia, and Meridian, Mississippi. Two outstanding programs, and they'll be going at it at 6:30 tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. And if you want to go out and see a good ball game and let your kids run around, hey, it'd be a great time to do it, and enjoy spring football. Of course, Troy Cable sponsors this event every year, and it's something they want to give back to the community and give back to the schools, and it's a great opportunity for them to showcase their football team for the coming season. And I tell you, there's no question Goshen's going to be better, and Charles Henderson's going to be better, and we'll be watching it all very closely. Of course, I want to mention a few other things going on. A big car show tomorrow morning. When is the last time you've been to a big car show? Well, there's going to be one, believe it or not, at the First Baptist Church parking lot in the morning, and we'll be talking about that this morning. It only charges you $25 to enter a vehicle, and let's just say you got an old truck or an old car that you're proud of. Bring it down, and for a $25 donation to a very good program, hey, you've got it. And of course, I know a lot of people that have these older cars and they keep them under lock and key, and like Joe Boutwell and all those Corvettes, I'm sure he'll be putting some of his vehicles in the car show. Caleb Dawson is the guy that is the brain thrust behind all this, and he's with the Troy Kiwanis Club, and they're sponsoring it. And it also is going to be a fundraiser for Kiwanis International's MNT program, and of course every dollar goes toward buying vaccines to combat tetanus, and so we'll be looking for that. The show will take place at the First Baptist Church parking lot right there on College Street, and let's see if I can find more information about it. Here we go. That's this Saturday. It did not say a time. Let's see if it does here. Boy, some beautiful old cars in this thing. Will be on display Saturday morning or Saturday, the 8th annual Best of Alabama Car Show, hosted by the Troy Kiwanis Club at First Baptist Church. So again, that's going to be a lot of fun in the morning. If you like old cars, there's going to be a bunch of them out there. I want to mention Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep on the bypass in Troy, and of course Jason Gregory and all the great people. Jason has done so much to benefit our schools here. He started a program that you buy. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A.
Hey, morning.
Talking about Jason Gregory this morning. He's already donated $70,000 to the Troy school, or the Pike County, City and Pike County school systems, and he's got a program where when they sell a new car or truck, they put $200 in away, and when they get ready to give it away to a school, they just write a check for the need.
Tell you what, man, that's quite an impact on the community. I'm sure everybody really appreciates what he's doing there.
Well, it really is, and he is a unique individual, and of course has a big car business right in Troy. He came to Troy from Columbus, Georgia, and I'm sure he's benefited well from all the advertising he does and support things he does for our schools. Of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors this morning, and of course Horn Beverage, located on the bypass. They do a lot for our schools and our community, and we appreciate them very much. And also Trojan Detail. That's Jeffrey Bennett, my good buddy, and boy, they make your car look like new again, I promise you. And of course Bird Drugs on the corner in downtown Troy. Nobody does it better than Bird Drugs. They're just outstanding people, working with a great community, and of course we appreciate them very much. All right, Mike.
How about that Troy baseball team last night? They went to South Alabama and got beat 8-2 and only had 4 hits. So South Alabama is playing a good ball, and unfortunately Troy's just been inconsistent throughout the season as Gill, who's Troy's best pitcher, takes the loss and falls to 7-3 on the season.
Yeah, I was really concerned. They're going to have to play a lot better to even have a chance at winning a conference championship.
Well, they'll get into the conference tournament, but they've just been so inconsistent all year. I don't see them, even really making much of a run.
Sometimes, though,
I have to look and see where the conference tournament's going to be this year.
Yeah, it's going to be up in North Carolina or South Carolina.
Is it going to be in Coastal?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina. They're a type team, though, if you don't expect them to do well, they'll do well. And that's where it's been.
Well, they fall at 27-27, so that's about as average as you can be, and then 14-14 in the conference.
Coming off a 40-win season a year ago, is that right?
Yeah, you're hoping that maybe they can at least get one in this series against South Alabama, which is going to be hard to do, but they will pitch Levi Thomas today. And, he's a really good pitcher as well for Troy.
They've done better.
Hopefully they can at least get one, but it's going to be hard to get two.
They've done well in the series recently. I would say, if you look back, this Troy team probably had won more series on the road and at home than any Troy team ever. Mike, what do you think?
Well, they started 0-5, so they really had no choice. They're playing catch-up, throughout the year in conference play. I was hanging out down the beach last night, saw two of your favorite people. I saw Michael Teixeira and Trot Brown.
Oh yeah, they got a business.
They have a roofing business down here. Trot's come over from Texas.
Is Trot? Did he get out of the Air Force and is over there now?
Yeah, he served 8.5 years. He told me.
Well, I tell you, I'm glad to see Trot over there, and they're great people, all of them. They'll do well. I guess
they're saying there's enough roofing business for the next 6 years.
Oh, really? That's good.
Advertise. It's pretty crazy.
That's great. That's great. And of course, if you know anything about roofing,
all this is actually, tragically due to the horrible Hurricane Michael that came through, Panama City Beach, of course, Lynn Haven, Mexico Beach got totally destroyed. But these guys, have started a roofing business down here and are doing really well.
Well, that's great. Of course, Brooks Koepka, you predicted this.
Bruce Koepka, Will Matthews predicted yesterday would win the tournament. He shot 63, 7 under. Tiger goes +2. Mickelson played great on the back, which is usually the toughest of the course, and finished -1.
Yeah.
Also, a guy named Danny Lee shot 64, so they're pretty much running away with the tournament so far.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, that's the PGA tournament going on in Farmdale, New York. I want to mention, you were talking about. I still have the worst time with his name, Copia, or whatever you call him.
It's Koepka.
Koepka, shot a 63, and Danny Lee shot a 64. The next closest thing was Tommy Fleetwood with 67. That's a lot of golf left, and now everybody that was looking for Tiger to do well, he didn't do well. Is that right?
Yeah, he struggled. He shot +2. He eagled a hole, but he couldn't ever really get it going. Yeah, today Mickelson goes off at 8:13. Jason Day goes off at 8:13. They're playing together with Rory McIlroy. This tournament's already started. They're all ready today.
Okay, well that's good. We'll keep up with it today. Matt Kuchar, one of my favorite players, shot 70 yesterday.
A lot of guys were 1 under yesterday. Ricky Fowler's 1 under as well. Jordan Spieth was 1 under.
Look for Jason Day to do well. He shot 1 under. And, of course, we got a lot of baseball.
These Nike guys are wearing these horrible Nike caps. I don't know if you saw them. They're like this huge Nike, like spelled out Nike.
Yeah.
On their hats. You will not like them if you haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, no question. A lot of baseball.
It's not the swoosh anymore.
Yeah. A lot of baseball and softball to talk about today, too. Providence ended up
they're
losing
done.
their
They've already
game.
won their championship.
And they won their game, the other day, 16-6 over Piedmont. So Providence and Piedmont went at it. And in Class 1A, let's see here, Mars Hill beat Brantley in baseball. And no surprise to anybody that G.W. Long won the state title yesterday with a 7-0 win over Westbrook Christian. And that means that nobody scored on them. Westbrook Christian didn't score a single run in the tournament.
Oh, is that right? I thought they got beat the first time 18-5.
Well, I thought it was maybe 18-0, but maybe you're right. Hopefully, so for them, I'm wrong. Of course, 4A baseball, Brooks.
G.W. Long also won the ladies softball championship as well.
Isn't that something? Boy, you talk about Titletown. Brantley and G.W. Long are Titletown, no question about it.
How about this? They were 54-3.
And they're in softball or baseball? Softball. I know they're awfully good. People move in there. It's like an industry.
The star for G.W. Long softball is a Troy softball signee named Libby Baker.
Libby Baker, and she's coming to Troy. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Listen to this. The senior homered again in the title game. Her 37th of the year and 87th of her career.
Boy, oh boy.
You ever in your life heard of a girl in high school hitting 37 home runs?
Boy, ahead. I hope Troy's already signed her.
87 for her career.
I hope Troy's already signed her.
Patrick Murphy down with the University of Alabama today.
What now?
Patrick Murphy, the Alabama softball coach, is driving down today.
I bet he is. Wouldn't you think?
How in the world did Troy get this girl?
I don't. I hope they got her. They already signed her. I hope they've already got her down. Of course, they got the great picture of Johnson.
That's a great picture of the GW Long boys softball team won it all, and after they played, they went behind the dugout of the girls team and cheered them on. What a great sense of oneness at GW Long. What a program.
GW Long, boy of Skipperville.
I send my kids to GW Long.
Hey, I tell you what, the worst mistake somebody made was when they were drawing out the city limits of Ozark. They left too much room for GW Long to have a town.
I mean, isn't that incredible?
I know it. You're right. They have won more baseball championships than any team in the state of Alabama history. And they did it with a father and son combination, Mike.
Yeah, the Millers.
The Millers. They're gonna have a movie about the Millers from GW Long of Skipperville. Downtown Skipperville is located 5 miles from downtown Ozark. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. Brooks beats Sipsey Valley 6-4 for their first baseball title. Brooks is always good in baseball.
Yeah, they played Troy not long ago, if you remember. And you're right, that was a big win for them. How about the big boys? Are they still playing?
Big boys, what, as far as
baseball?
7A?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those will be decided today.
All right, you got McGill Tulin 29-7 against Bob Jones 41-8, and you've got a Class 6A Chelsea. Man, Chelsea's really coming up fast, Mike. 26-13 versus Coleman, another title town. Would you call Coleman a title town?
Yeah, let's say final score: Briarwood Christian won 5-4 over Springville. Let's see.
They play today at 10.
I guess they'll finish today.
They play today at 10. And a lot of these games are played at Patterson Field, and a lot of them are played at Riverwalk. Isn't it a great gesture on the part of the Montgomery Biscuits to allow these high schools to play there?
Yeah, that's a long road trip, isn't it, for them to have to go on?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the Biscuits, allow them to they own that stadium, the Biscuits do, and they allow these people to play on it. That's great. Looking at some softball, Mike, and we got several teams from our area. Luverne lost 10-4 in their game, and I'm thinking they play again today. Of course, that is in Class 2A, and again, in Class 1A, you've got those games today. Brantley is 38-10 versus Bell Green, 28-13. Titletown. Hey, they're going to be sitting on those porches this weekend with green and white colors, Mike. What do you think?
I'm sure they will. Of course,
they play today at 9 o'clock for the championship. 9 o'clock, and that's awfully early.
Of course, we got the Special Olympics starting at Troy. Did that start yesterday, or is that starting today?
Yeah, it starts today, I think, or later on this afternoon. I might have got that wrong. Class 1A is today, but that's those games are still being played. Mars Hill, 36-10 versus Verbena, 20-12. All these games are at 9 o'clock at Lagoon Park. Holy Spirit, 19-10 versus Spring Garden, 29-9. And Appalachian, 24-7 versus Kinston. Look for Kinston, Mike, and Brantley to battle it out, hopefully. The championship game in the winner's bracket will be at 11 a.m. on Saturday, I believe, if necessary. So we'll be watching that, and hopefully our team from Brantley and And I think our team from Luverne is still in it, Mike.
You got Auburn quarterback Malik Willis plans to enter the transfer portal. So Willis was running second string behind Jared Stone in the past 2 years, but then got beat out by Joey Gaywood and Bo Nix. And Malik Willis will now try to find another place to play college football. So be interesting to see where he lands. He's a junior.
Troy needs a backup. Troy needs a backup now. I'll tell you right now.
Troy doesn't need anybody. Troy's got.
What I'm saying. Troy's got
Gunnar Watson, and they've got the free kid.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this too. That right now, our quarterback at Troy, I wouldn't trade him for hardly anybody. I really wouldn't. He is really, really good.
Yeah, the only unfortunate thing is I wish he would have been redshirted. Yeah, he's a kid that barely played his freshman year and just pretty much just blew a year. I guess he did it on special teams.
I'm thinking they must not realize how good he was.
Yeah, that was stated by Neil Brown and Big Conan. I remember that I don't think they realized what they had.
Yeah, and boy, we're talking about maybe the fastest quarterback, maybe in the country, Mike. He might be the fastest.
You just got to hope that he's going to stay healthy for the whole year.
Yeah. Well, he comes out of a little town up in North Alabama called Priceville. And, they're not known for producing a lot of football players, but they sure produced him, and we got him, and we're lucky.
Yeah, this transfer portal has just changed college football landscape. It's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we mentioned Sawyer Smith the other day, ends up going to Kentucky, and will be able to play immediately. He's already graduated from Troy.
All right, that was the unreal thing about it. He would be a junior at Troy this year, and he's already graduated.
Junior at Kentucky, he's already graduated.
All right, what I'm saying, he's already graduated from college.
Same thing Jay Coker did at Alabama.
But will they get 2 years? Will they give him 2 years?
Yeah, he's only played 2 years on the field. So you got 2 more years to play. You got a redshirt year, and then you got 2 years you played on the field. So you got 5 years to play 4.
So Jacob Coker played 2 years at Alabama. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, Sawyer Smith did the exact same thing. He graduated and was able to, now be able to play 2 years at Kentucky.
Yeah, no question.
A really good Kentucky program that's won 10 games.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to like him. He's going to play a lot, I guarantee you. Or do you think they're ready?
I mean, the starting quarterback's back, and he's a guy that can really run but cannot throw very well. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll bring Smith in to throw the ball every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody still cannot believe what happened at West Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, they had 80. I didn't know they had a stadium that held 85,000, but they sold it out for the spring game, didn't they?
I hadn't heard that. That's great if that's the case.
Somebody told me that, and hopefully I'm correct, but if you can look it up, I'd appreciate it. The biggest turnout in the history of West Virginia football. That's way too many for West Virginia, Mike, I would think.
Well, I'm looking so.
Of course, we got a lot going on with baseball and softball, and Luverne has been eliminated. They lost to San Rock 10-4 on Wednesday, and then again in the loser's bracket game, lost 10-0 to Leroy. So Luverne 23 had a great year, though. Congratulations, young ladies. And of course, Long went ahead and did their thing. They end up beating Hatton 2-0. Then they beat let's see, Joe. They beat Collinsville 13-3 yesterday. And then for the championship, they beat Hatton, GW Long 52-3, Mike, like you said, and Hatton 44-16, and Long beat them and won the championship again. I don't know how many championships they won in girls softball, but this was the 16th. Correct me if I'm wrong. The 16th state championship in baseball. That is phenomenal coming out of Dale County, Alabama, to have a team that
they won 2 in a row in softball.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I'm glad to see Troy doing that kind of recruiting. They're getting some of the best players around. Last year, they got the top pitcher in this part of the country, in the Johnson girl, and all she did was have a banner year. Beat South Alabama 2 times in a row, didn't she?
Yeah, but Troy just did show up in the conference tournament and got swept the first day.
Yeah, they did not play very well in the first round, and but they do have a good program at Troy, and it looks like they're bringing in a lot of good players. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
That's great. She did that. That's a lot of money, $1,000.
Michael.
Are you a driver trainee just finishing school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the kennel for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
Back to our show, and I will make a correction, ladies and gentlemen. West Virginia Stadium holds only 60,000. I say only, that's a lot of people. And but from what I gathered, Mike, they filled it up or came close to filling it up for the spring game, which was the most excitement they've had for football in a long time at West Virginia.
Well, I mean, Dana Holgerson had some good teams, and it's one of those things where it's a lot of excitement around the new coach coming in, and from what I've read, all the fan base really is rallied around Coach Brown and his coaching staff, so it's good to see. Yeah,
no question about it. Of course, Troy felt like they got out of spring in good shape, and still looking for that big back, but they got those other guys that can run pretty good, and I don't know.
B.J. Smith and they got the kid out of Scottsboro that came on during the spring, Billingsley.
Yeah.
DK Billingsley, and then the strong kid that transferred in for Texas A&M. I guess he's one of the few kids that will not get a waiver. It seems like everybody gets a waiver now when they transfer, but I guess that's not going to happen.
Well, we'll find out. It hasn't happened yet, but we will find out. Maury Davenport won the Johnny Till Award last night for the women's side of the Johnny Till Award, but she was not at the event. And of course, congratulations to Maury. No question, Mike, probably if not the greatest athlete that ever came out of Charles Henderson, but one of them, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, she's got to rank up there, the top, women's basketball player ever to come out of there. And then,
probably more national exposure for her than any athlete probably in history, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, she's 6'4", and, is a great shot blocker and rebounder, not a, tremendous scorer, but, I'm sure all that will be developed. I mean, I assume she's still going up to Rutgers, I guess.
Well, yeah. They said that her scholarship at Rutgers was worth $200,000.
What, is Rutgers a real good academic school?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's a big-time school. I want to say it must be a private school. Rutgers must, but I'm wrong.
It's the state school in New Jersey.
It is a state school then. But
how in the world would that be worth $200,000?
Well, it costs that kind of money. Hey, listen, it costs that kind of money to go to Vanderbilt.
Oh, I know Vanderbilt and the Dukes of the world, but I've never heard of Rutgers. I'll have to read up on that.
Rutgers. All right, Mike.
The coach is literally can barely coach anymore. She's having to take leave due to stress and fatigue. Vivian Stringer has won 1,000 games as a coach, but is basically coaching her last few years. Looks like she's going down with all Alabama players. She's got 2 girls from Montgomery on her roster already.
All right, that has a lot to do with it. That has a lot to do with her.
West Virginia was not a very good attended game, only 19,000.
Oh, the spring game?
Yeah.
Boy, I'm getting the wrong information there, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Only 19,000.
It is the third largest in West Virginia history, so that tells you they don't really go out for spring games.
Yeah, well, I understand that. Mike, let me throw a little trivia out at you this morning. Who were the 2 teams that played in the first football game ever?
Of all time?
Of all time, what 2 teams played in the first football game?
I'm going to say Harvard-Yale.
No, you missed it, my friend.
Well, who was it?
How about Princeton and Rutgers?
Well, that's not too far off. I was pretty close. I was in the right area, at least.
Double check that, but I think I'm true. I think I'm right. When we do win a trivia question, we do get a cup of coffee, I promise you. What now?
Of course, we need to mention also that Will Reeves won the Teal Award on the boys' side as well.
And congratulations to Will Reeves. And
I was telling my wife last night, how many years have you been doing the Teal Award? At least 30?
Yeah, around 30, and and it's been a very successful deal where we recognized Johnny Teal, who was a quarterback on my high school football team in the years we played as far as football, 63 and 64, and I think we lost 3 ball games in 2 years, and he was our quarterback and our leader, and he was also an outstanding baseball and basketball player. But
I was going to say, I graduated high school 25 years ago, and I know you did it while I was in high school, so it's got to be close to 30.
Yeah, and I'm going to mention somebody to you in a minute, too, that'll surprise you a little bit. It's been going on that long, and, of course, Johnny Teal was killed in a car wreck the year after our senior year in high school, and along with my good friend Johnny Helton and Dennis McGlon. All 3 of them were my classmates, and they had just gone over to be in the Air Force Reserve, and they were out at basic training, and they were coming back from a weekend trip to New Orleans, and they were killed in an automobile accident. And our prayers and our thoughts still go out to the family. Miss Teal passed away about a year ago, and I didn't even realize all of it, Mike. And she's one of the most beautiful ladies that's ever walked these sidewalks of Troy, Alabama. She was a great lady. And, of course, Johnny's name has been completely celebrated over the years with the Johnny Teal Award. And I can't think of anything better you can do for a friend is to give back to the school, to his school, and at the same time keep his name alive. And most everybody's heard of Johnny Teal and is working. But the thing I'm excited
you
for.
also honored your best friend who just passed away, Sonny Williford, last night as well.
That's right. The first annual Sonny Williford Award was won last night by Cole Coppage. Cole Coppage is the first winner of the Sonny Williford Award, and of course Sonny, my dear friend, and of course KT Cole was a teammate and great friend, and Buck Corley was a teammate and great friend. Jim Ray, Jack Jackson lives down in Ozark now. Kerry Green, a lot of great guys. Rusty Gibson, a big-time attorney in Tuscaloosa. All of those guys were my teammates. Bill Price lives up in Kentucky. Great player.
Of course, his cousin Richard was like his brother.
Yeah.
Richard and Sonny were like brothers.
Oh yeah, Richard Williford, of course, was also one of my very closest friends. We grew up together. Richard lived on Trojan Terrace, and I lived on Orion Street. Sonny lived over on Orange Street, and I believe if I recollect, Mike, Sonny grew up in a brick house. He must have been rich. He lived in a brick house.
Of course, to your surprise, my twin sister came to, the senior night graduation.
That was one of the best kept secrets I think I can ever remember in our family, because I didn't know that.
Gave away $1,000 scholarship, which is a lot of money, and started the Mike Amos Trojan Spirit Award. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to call it, the Trojan Spirit Award. I was touched like.
So you were a big part of the program last night, and you didn't even realize it, did you?
And I'll be honest with you, I was touched when I first looked at it in the.
I heard you got out there and did TROJ.
Well, yeah, I did a little of that, and I'm all about firing folks up. Let me tell you this: I think there are folks that can fire folks up, but you're looking at a guy that can probably fire folks up as well as anybody you know anywhere.
I think Camille said the winner was.
I can get you fired up. I promise you. What now?
The winner of your award last name was Kilpatrick.
Yeah, and of course Kirkpatrick.
Okay.
And she is an outstanding volleyball player and an outstanding student. And her dad, who used to be the volleyball coach at Troy University, came up to me and said, "Thank you for your scholarship." And I didn't know anything about it, other than I knew that his daughter had won the award, and I'm proud for that. And Emma Kirkpatrick, Mike, is her name, and an outstanding student. And I think she's going to Huntington to play volleyball. So, great.
Camille called me. I was actually grilling out burgers down here in Grayton, and told me about it. I was in shock. I said I might have gone up for that. I didn't have any idea you were even doing that.
Well, again, it was something that was.
Maybe I'll present that
award. Let me just tell you how much
for the Mike Amos Award one day.
Let me tell you how much how much I recognize stuff. My own daughter sat behind me the entire time we were at the awards banquet. Of course, it was at the Betty Wags Gymnasium, and of course that's a big annual event where all the students get their scholarships and so forth. And I'm looking at I pick up a brochure on what's going to happen, and I said, "Who is this right here?" And I called a lady over, and she said, "Oh, that's supposed to be a secret." And I really was touched, and I tell you.
Apparently Camille was sitting out there with another Mount Brook neighbor of hers, Melinda Booth Curtis.
That's right.
Also down there presenting an award. Camille had to slip out to get back to Birmingham, so she didn't even stay for the very end, she told me.
Well, and that could have worked out well, because I think the other girl drove down by herself too, so that was very nice. Very nice. Melinda.
Basketball's going on in the NBA. Golden State goes up 2-0, beat the Portland Trail Blazers last night, 114-111. So Golden State is playing without Kevin Durant, which is pretty amazing right now, and still winning basketball games.
They're by far the best program in basketball, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they still got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, two great players.
Yeah. No question about it. Troy, of course, in baseball lost at South Alabama.
4 hits last night. Hard to believe.
At 4 hits. They're not playing well at the right time. And now, and of course, I hated this because he hit the ball hard every time. But Chase Smart had his 16-game hitting streak broken, so that pressure's off of him. But they go out today and they win a couple, win at least one, maybe two of those games, and then go into the conference tournament and get a break or two. You never can tell what might happen. I think they're capable.
It's been so inconsistent, though.
Yeah, and of course it's the same team. No, well, I shouldn't say it's the same team, but it's the team that last year won over 40 games and went all the way to the Georgia region in the playoff.
Yeah, unfortunately, Troy's now lost 3 in a row, so they're not trending well.
Yeah, no question about it. But you never can tell. And baseball has 9 innings.
I think the Trojan Tour was down there last night as well.
No, it's going to be tonight. And it starts
tonight. Okay.
And it's going to be a nice event where all the coaches gather and tell about their program. I would, if I was not tied up with some football tonight, I would be down there. That'd be a good trip.
They'll play 6:30 tonight, and then play at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
3 o'clock on Saturday, so it should be some good baseball.
So what football games are you doing tonight?
Well, we've got 2 of them that are going to be right here in town, and I'll tell you this:
how did Goshen come out last night?
Goshen won 10-0. A big win for Bart Snyder's team, and that'll give them a lot of confidence going into the season next year. And of course, this is a great event sponsored by Troy Cable, and of course, for the fourth year, it's been a very, very big success in helping and promoting high school football. Of course, tonight, this afternoon, you got Florella, Mike, a much improved Florella team playing Isabella, which comes up there from Peach Country. And then at 6:30 tonight, a real good game between the Wetumpka Indians and Paul Bryant of Tuscaloosa. That's a 6:30.
So what game are you going to do? Wetumpka game?
Yeah, I might probably end up doing both of them.
Well, your voice is going to be gone by the weekend.
Well, that's what it's all about. And then, of course, 11:30 in the morning, we've got Hewitt Trustful and Robert E. Lee. I would think Robert E. Lee has as many athletes as anybody in the state, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think, they had a great season last year. Of course,
they lost their coach, though.
Trustful had a good season as well, but they lost their great quarterback, so
yeah.
Be interested to see what happens.
But and of course, good measuring stick. That's what this is for all these coaches. Is a measuring stick. Find out where they are, and Charles.
You can't really look at the scores too, because I think a lot of these teams play younger guys late in games.
Well, let me tell you a little answer question that I've been asked a few times. Everybody talking about how good Charles Henderson was, and they did look good, no question about it, against a big 6A school from Georgia, Callaway. And Callaway, Mike, dressed 108 players. They had 14 position coaches. I mean, it's a huge program. But I found out last night that they were playing without their 5-star. They have a 5-star running back over there that's supposed to be going to Georgia. So he didn't play, so that had a lot to do with it. But the back that did play was a big back named Dixon, who was about 6'3", 6'4", and weighed about 230.
Well, finally a coach is using some sense. No need to play a 5-star in a spring game. I agree with that, especially with the season so close.
Well, and then they had a lineman.
Spring games are so close to the regular season. It's kind of crazy.
And, of course, they had a lineman on that team from Callaway that was also a 4-star already signed with or already committed to Georgia. And Mike, he was really, really good. You could tell who he was. You didn't even have to look at a number. He was a giant, and he just whipped everybody that got in front of him. And he was a great. He's going to be a great player for Georgia. So, and then the quarterback that played for Columbia High School and they're located right there in Atlanta, Mike, Columbia High School, and their quarterback's already committed to play for Georgia State. And, that tells me how good he was. He was pretty good.
So, how many more games are left? 4? 2 today and 2 tomorrow?
Oh, you got 3 tomorrow. You got a triple header tomorrow. And we got Cordova and W.S. Neal at 3. And then Colquitt County. Now, Mike, people think, I'm talking about Colquitt, Georgia. We're not talking about Colquitt, Georgia. We're talking about Calvert County High School of Georgia. I don't know exactly what town they're located in.
I thought it was Colquitt County High School of Georgia.
What did I say?
I thought you said Culver.
No, I thought I said Colquitt. Colquitt County High School of Georgia. One of the top, I want to say 6 or 7A.
They're the biggest classification in Georgia.
And they were.
I don't know if they do 6A or 7A.
They were coached a long time by the Probst.
Russ Probst got let go at Hoover. He ended up at Colquitt County.
Yeah, but he was several places before he got back to Colquitt County. But he's made this a.
No, he went to Colquitt County after Hoover. There was no other places.
Oh, okay, but
some places. A lot of places before he got to Hoover.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Well, I tell you what, he.
Russ Probst will get another job. He's too good of a coach, even though you got tons of baggage, and tons of ego issues when it comes to him.
Well, all right, Colquitt County, Georgia versus Meridian, Mississippi. 2 of the best teams. Well, one of the very best teams in Mississippi, and one of the best teams in Georgia go at it at 6:30 from the Veterans Memorial Stadium right here in Troy this Saturday night. I promise you go out, you'll have a good time and see a great football game.
Well, every time I go through Meridian, Mississippi, it looks like it gets bigger and bigger.
Well, of course, it is a pretty big town, and Meridian, Mississippi High School is one of the more noticeable high schools in the state of Mississippi.
Mississippi State University's got a branch in Meridian now.
Oh, yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. And, of course, Mississippi State has, over 20,000 students, and Ole Miss is climbing up that way to about 20,000 students.
Well, I wonder how many Southern Miss has. I wonder how many they have on campus.
I would guess about 13 or 14,000, but it would be good to look that up. Those are not real big schools because it's not really that big a state of Mississippi.
Yeah, Alabama's at 36,000 now.
Yeah, but what they do have is they have 16 or 18 junior colleges that play real good football, Mike. Tell us a little bit about that. Well, I'll tell you something about it. Every one of them.
It's the biggest, East Mississippi Community College.
Well, they play on Thursday nights during football season, and every one of the teams have the artificial surface. They invested in that. They all have good facilities, and they play great football. And all of the college scouts in the country are in there every weekend to watch football players. They might go and see one guy play a half, then during the halftime break, drive over to the next one and see a player at the next one. But
you got 14,500 students at Southern Miss.
I had a feeling it was about that, and I would love for Troy to be that big one day, but I don't think it will. If Troy can reach 10,000
globally, Troy, with all their satellite campuses, and you got Montgomery, you got Central Phoenix City, you got Dothan, you got Troy, you got the campus at Fort Walton Beach. I guess overall it's like around 29,000, 30,000.
Yeah. In fact, if you just looked at how many they educate in state, you talk about Montgomery's campus, Phoenix City's campus, and Dothan's campus. If you added that to their in-state enrollment, they'll have 15, 16,000 students.
Some people say the sun never sets on Troy University.
Yeah, well, it does, and of course, their branches go all the way across the country. But just educating them in state proves that they're the third largest school in the state, maybe the fourth next to UAB.
So I guess Jeremy McClain, Troy's athletic director, is officially at Southern Miss now.
Oh yeah, he's already been seen with a Southern Miss shirt on, and he was in the broadcast booth Thursday night for that game, or Tuesday, whatever night it was.
He was in the Troy broadcast booth.
Yeah, they came by. He walked in and saw him. He's a great guy, class guy. I don't have any problem.
It's really interesting. Why would Troy wait this long to hire an AD? This is really going on
let
forever.
me say this. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my opinion.
Do you
They've got a guy
doing all the work, the Brett Jones guy, or do you go out and get one of these Division I athletic directors that apparently has applied for the job?
All right, and I hear there's as many as 60 people have applied for the job. It's a good job.
You want to go ahead and have something with this Trojan tour going on and all this?
Well, I think you'll probably hear something in the next week or so. But let me just say this: Brent Jones is capable as anybody out there to be our AD. He is a good mix, and that's very important. He's a good fit. That's very important. They built a home. They've moved in their home. They love Troy. His wife is as energetic as he is. Everybody knows him and likes him and respects him. And hey, he's already proven that he can do the job.
Well, you got to figure, he's if he doesn't get the Troy job, he's heading right back to Hattiesburg to serve under.
Well, we don't know now. I mean, he loves Troy. We don't know, but to me,
I'm just saying if he doesn't get the AD job. I mean, the interim AD right now is Sandy Atkins, who's the women's athletic director at Troy University,
right. And it's already been in print.
It's been stated that Sandy Atkins does not want the AD job.
That's right.
So,
that's right. And she does a good job.
Be a new AD,
and she does a good job working
so we'll
with
figure it out. Of course.
Boy, you're not letting me talk.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just explaining the situation.
She does a real good job with the Title IX programs too, and we've looked real good in those programs, and she does a great job with that. But I want to mention.
I just think this has gone on way too long. Let's get it done. I mean, I don't understand what the wait is.
Well, that's up to them, and they're not in a hurry, and evidently, and they'll get a good person. I just recommend the person that I like best, and I just know this young man has really, really worked hard, and at the same time, I say young man, he's in his 40s. He's been in athletics 20 years, was at Ole Miss for 5 years. I mean, what I'm saying, he's been there and done that, and he's an outstanding individual. From what I gather, and this is just through the grapevine, he has already done a great job of bringing in good teams on our schedule. Not just everybody wants to play Troy, Mike. Not just Alabama and Auburn, but, like Southern Miss.
Apparently Tennessee wanted some of it. They're going to be playing them next year.
That's right. The Tennessee Vols want some of it.
You think Jeremy Pruitt and his wife from Banks are scared of Troy?
Hello, Banks, Alabama. We're gonna go over Banks and interview all those people over there.
She said, since I'm a Troy alum and grew up in Banks and went to Applied Liberal Arts, that will you do Troy University a favor and pay them $1 million for us to come play them?
And let me tell you something else. Their defensive coordinator was an All-American at Troy. Isn't that right?
Yeah, had 19 career interceptions. That's incredible to think about.
I remember him as a pure freshman making that tackle on the goal line against Nebraska. I've got a big picture of that.
He was a kid from Tallahassee.
Yeah, and of course a great one. Want to mention, I've heard this through the grapevine now, is that Troy looks like they're going to have a home and home with Army. They're going to have a possibility of a good home and home with Memphis.
Well, they say if there's any place to visit, they say it's really one of the most unique places to go in the country is West Point.
Yeah, and that would be a great trip. And then they're going to play the other bunch from Massachusetts next year. What's the name of them?
UMass.
They play UMass next year.
Yeah, UMass will have a new coach. I don't know who they hired.
Then they've got the University of North Carolina State University is coming in
Well,
there.
Carolina State will have a lot of good athletes. They lost Ryan Finley, their quarterback, so they'll be trying to find a new quarterback. But
They've got a
lot of good athletes,
and they're very well coached too. They'll be tough to beat. But
coached by Dave Dorn, he has done a good job there.
And I'm hoping that our relationship with our former AD will help us get a home and home with Southern Miss. Wouldn't that be a great rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, even if you couldn't get a home and home, maybe you could play them in Mobile or something.
And this guy feels the same way I do. He wants to get UAB on the schedule.
Yeah, if we could get UAB and Southern Miss non-conference every year, what more could you ask for?
You couldn't ask for anything better. You know, not only with Southern Miss, people forget this. The Southern Miss marching band is one of the closest competitors of the Sound of the South, and they've got a long time the Southern Miss majorettes.
Dancing Southerners.
Yeah, well, the Dancing Southerners, but they were called the what was it? They're a dance team for many years, but at one time everybody was more interested in watching the band at Southern Miss than they were the football team. And but now their program over the last 25, 30 years has really been improved, and that would be a great home and home if we could work that out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Troy, I think is going to play Western Kentucky in a few years.
That's right.
Former rival team as well in the Sun Belt.
No question about it, and that's a good trip. And
yeah, Bowling Green, Kentucky is a great town. I had a lot of fun there.
It's the home of the Corvette, if you like Corvettes. Isn't that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And
Troy, I wouldn't mind seeing them start playing Memphis as well. That'd be another game I wouldn't mind going to.
Well, I mentioned Memphis, Mike. Home and home with Memphis. It looks like it's already in the out there, I hope, and then maybe play one of those Mississippi schools, Ole Miss or Mississippi State, and and then like you said, we've got Tennessee on our schedule. When next year?
Yeah, I mean next year's schedule's going to be through the roof. NC State at home, Tennessee on the road, Tennessee late in the season as well. Trip up to Knoxville.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. Yeah.
Trip up to the mountains. Of course.
Oh, Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me.
On the boat and just dock your boat right outside the stadium. Go to Calhoun's.
All right, now let me ask this:
your boat afterwards and head back, the Tennessee River back home.
You think you know everything? I got a coffee bet with you on what is it?
I don't drink coffee. Can I have a nice hot chocolate?
Well, a hot chocolate, whatever. But what's the name of the real name of Tennessee's football stadium?
Bald Hemingway Stadium?
No, that's Bald Hemingway is Ole Miss, Mike.
That's Ole Miss. It's what is their stadium? It's
I'm gonna get him, ladies and gentlemen. I like my coffee black, Mike.
What is it? Neyland Stadium.
I know it's another name, Mike.
Neyland Stadium?
Neyland Stadium, of course, is named after the Colonel, the great coach, General Neyland. But there's another name for that stadium.
I've heard it before. I'm just drawing a blank.
Shields Watkins Field. Welcome to Neyland Stadium, Shields Watkins Field. Like this, and we should mention it more on our broadcast. Welcome back to Veterans Stadium, Larry Blakeney Field. How about that?
I tell you what, it seems like eventually they'd have to name the field after Saban in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. You know, Mike, something about, you're right.
You finally get rid of the Denny and change it to Bryant Saban Stadium?
Yeah, how that would work.
Was Denny just a president?
Well, I tell you what we're fixing to do here. We're fixing to name our studio Steve Camp Studio. That's what we're going to name it. And I will also self-proclaim today Steve Camp Day. Mike, he just got off of a major knee surgery, and now I mean it works, and he walks around here limping. And I said, "You hurting?" He said, "Yeah, I'm hurting." But he continues to roll, and he's one of the great people, unsung people you'll find anywhere in this community.
You know, I wish Troy Cable would have had cameras at the Troy Senior Night last night, since I could have seen all the.
Well, and we've talked about it already, but we had so many of our camera people over the football game, and you know, we're looking for camera people. If you're interested out there, good job. But also, you know, it was just you know, that's the first time ever that I remember that it had never been televised. Which that's something that, you know, we did from the very get-go on Troy Cable, was to film these important events that are worthy of a family keeping that for a long time to come.
I tell you what, I wish more Davenport was there, because that would have been one of the greatest pitchers of all time. 6'4" Will Reeves and 6'4" Moore Davenport.
Exactly, and you know, when she finds out there's a cash check involved, she'll probably hear from her, don't you think?
I would imagine.
But let me tell you,
she's probably out playing in some.
She is, and she's a worthy person. She's a fine.
Some girls' basketball, you know, league.
Let me tell you this: when they pick a winner of the Teal Award, a lot of they want to know about what kind of person this person is, what kind of teammate this person was. Is she a leader? Is she a motivator? Is she a girl that plays hard all the time? You know, a lot of those things go into the Johnny Teal Award, and she was very worthy of the award. Very, very sweet, unassuming type girl, and probably threw the ball off too much, Mike. Have you ever heard of somebody, a basketball player, giving the ball back too many times instead of shooting?
She was a selfish player.
Unselfish player, yeah. Selfless, yeah, that's right. We appreciate Dixieland Dental so much. They're one of our strong supporters of our show and been around a long time. Dr. Michael Precise, one of the great people, and of course he's got the Wiregrass Cardinals playing baseball already. Mike, I'm hearing too much of this, though. I was told yesterday that a lot of these kids did not make their award ceremonies because they're playing travel ball. And I say this, and you've been around all these years yourself. Please support your local rec program and play your and finish out that season and support and have your community recognized in tournament play, and then on the weekends and when you're not playing, play travel ball. But put the rec ball program first, because that's how.
I think they're just, you know, competition level. They wanted to try to go up against, you know, maybe some more elite.
Sure, there's no question about it, and I can understand it, but just do it on Saturdays.
Trust me, it's never going to shut down the rec leagues in Troy, Alabama. I mean, there's
no way,
strong as you can get.
No way, but I heard that last night. The reason somebody was not there was that they were coaching rec ball or whatever.
I mean, it's just sad for me.
Not rec ball,
living
not rec ball, but travel ball. What?
Living down at the beach and seeing all these kids playing on the beach, and
it's a money-making thing.
Running around and stuff like that. I mean, I just think these kids are too young. I mean, you know, let them enjoy their summers. Let them have some time off.
Well, that's the biggest thing that's ever hit the Panama City. I don't know if Fort Walton does this or not, but Panama City has taken that rec park and from being predominantly softball, Mike, but now it is baseball, it is soccer, it is volleyball, where they have these huge tournaments every weekend, and teams from all over the Southeast and all over everywhere are coming down here. They spend a whole week playing in tournament type formats.
You know, I wonder where they're putting everybody there, because there's so many construction workers and so many people working down here after the hurricane. There's not near as much room as far as hotels and motels and condos as it used to be.
It's something you haven't looked at. With those new facilities and all that, they are building giant places for them to stay. Huge places for them to stay while they're there. And let me just say this, and he's a good friend of mine, Mike Thomas. He said they've got tired of putting up with people that are underage drinking on the beach. There was a lot of some crime.
A lot of horrible crimes being committed. Yeah, it was bad.
And it was bad. And they decided we don't have to have this business. We don't want this kind of business. We want family-orientated business like teams from Sylacauga, teams from Fort Payne, teams from Birmingham, Evergreen, Andalusia, or wherever, teams from all over to come to our community, spend a week. They need to bring their mom and their daddy, their brothers and their sisters, the aunts and the uncles, the grandmas and granddaddies, and their friends with them for that week of playing tournament ball in Panama City. And hey, they're swarming. They're swarming. It's a huge success.
I had lunch at Mike Thomas's Diner and Oyster House, and boy, he's got some of the best fried chicken you'll ever eat.
He does, and I tell you, I ate there the other day and had their shrimp on top of rice with hot butter. Whoa, boy, that was good. It reminded me of a dish that the half shell used to have, Mike. You know where I'm talking about?
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was a dish they called, oh boy, it was with shrimp and rice and butter. It was New Orleans. It was called New Orleans shrimp. And it was really good. And they don't have it on the menu anymore, but it was really, really good. Steve Kemp is our seafood advisor and seafood authority. He's sitting up in the booth. He might be eating a lobster tail or whatever. Steve Kemp told me, Mike, that there are thousands and thousands of lobster in the Gulf of Mexico. You know, everybody just thinks that the northeast, Connecticut and the places like that up there in the northeast have the best lobster, but he claims they got great lobster right here.
I'll tell you what, they must be catching some out there because there's so many people with fishing poles out there in Grayton. I guess they're still maybe catching pompano.
Well, exactly, and of course, pompano. Steve has told me, and he has experience. I'll hear him bash on that one in a minute, tell him to shut up. But he says that pompano's probably the best eating fish down there. It's a real sweet taste.
Yeah, I saw if anybody wants to go out deep sea fishing, a good friend of mine from Troy, Alabama, Jeff Corley, is the fishing captain of a fleet going out of Destin now. So that's something I might be interested in, is going deep sea fishing with Jeff Corley out of Destin.
I tell you, he's a great guy and great friend, and his family's been close to our family for years, and he is really good at what he does, no question about it. Of course,
one thing about down here, I tell my wife all the time, I think I don't think we eat enough seafood. I feel like we kind of just eat it just every once in a while. I figure when we moved down here, it'd be like every other meal seafood.
Well, let me just say this. You can talk about seafood all day long, but I'll take hunts in St. Andrews any day of the week over anybody. As far as the quality you get, but the quality of fish and you get. I mean, they're going to fill your plate with oysters, shrimp.
So when you get a seafood plate, what all comes on up?
Scallops, grouper would be your fish. Now, I'm not real crazy about their oh shoot, what is the other part of that I don't always eat? What do you
get? Shrimp? Do you get grouper? You get scallops?
Yeah,
what else?
Scallops are wonderful too. Is the oh shoot, crab meat.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I like their crab cakes, and let me tell you now, if you want a good crab cake, you eat one of Steve's crab cakes. Buddy, they are outstanding. But the crab cake, I don't recommend it as much as I do everything else. But another thing they have real good is grilled tuna. Boy, they have great tuna at hunts in St. Andrews, and of course, like you say, you go across the bridge and drive a little bit out of the way, but the food is that good, in my opinion.
Well, Phil Mickelson's off to a horrible start today at the PGA. They've already started Mickelson's off to a +2 start, double bogeys, number 2 at the PGA Championship so far. Your leader in the clubhouse is Bruce Koepka. Tommy Fleetwood is at 3 under. Jordan Spieth is making a move. He's at 2 under now.
Yeah. All of them try to look real fit, and a lot of them say, look at my arms. And, Tiger was this way. Tiger started working out, and that's why a lot of people started working out. They look at his biceps and all that. But look at Koepka, whatever you call him. Koepka. Hey, he looks like a linebacker. He looks like an NFL linebacker, about 6'2", or 6'3", and weighs about 230. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he's a guy that's really amazing. If you know his story, Bruce Koepka decided after he graduated from Florida State that he was not going to play on the PGA Tour. He wanted to go to Europe and play on the European Tour. He wanted to travel and kind of see the world, and actually was really successful on the European Tour. I think he won 4 or 5 times over there.
So he did that first.
Yeah, he did that first, and then, which is unheard of, really, and then came back to the States and had not really played well, like on the regular tour tournaments, but, lately has played phenomenal on majors. He's already won 3 majors, and, he's best friends with Dustin Johnson, and, Dustin Johnson's won 20 tournaments, but only 1 major, and Koepka, looks like a guy that, the way he's going right now, will win 8 or 9 majors.
Yeah, well, I tell you, he's a fine
If he goes out and shoots 300 today, or better, I don't see how he might catch him.
Well, another thing, he's so smooth, and he doesn't seem like this thing bothers him at all, But he's a Superman. He's a superhero. If he wins this, he's gonna become the biggest hero in golf.
I read articles the other day. This is hard to believe, but they say after he plays an 18-hole round, he has so much energy left, he goes and works out for 2 hours, like in the gym.
And ladies and gentlemen, he looks like a linebacker already. But, and some people said that hurt Tiger. When Tiger went down, that he was too muscle bound. He couldn't swing like he did because he was so muscled up. But it don't seem like
rumors. I mean, people used to claim he was on steroids, all kinds of stuff when it came to Tiger.
But Koepka, man, he's the real deal now. When it comes to being physical, no question about it.
Yeah, Koepka's 29 years old, and he's 6 foot tall. Played at Florida State University.
He carries himself taller than 6 foot. Now Tiger's taller than 6 foot, isn't he?
Yeah, Tiger's a legit 6'2".
I thought Koepka was taller than that, but boy, he is a specimen, no question about it, as far as size and strength. And how far did he hit?
For professional wins on the European Tour, the Challenge Tour, whatever that is, and PGA Tour, he's won 5 times on the PGA Tour, 4 on the European Tour, 2 on the Japan Golf Tour, and 4 on the Challenge Tour. So this guy's at his prime, and he's the best player in golf right now.
And he seemed like a real nice guy too. A good role model.
A brother named Chase that's also a professional golfer.
Okay, well that's good information and everything. And of course he had a 7-under par 63 yesterday. And when does he tee off today?
He tees off late today. I think he's in the last group today.
And that's who everybody will be watching, his group. What did Jordan Spieth?
He's from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Well, Jordan Spieth shot a 69, so he's still around.
Yeah, Spieth's already 1 under today as well, so he's at 2 under. Danny Lee, listen to this. After 7 holes, the guy shot 64 yesterday. It tells you what can happen in one day. He's played 7 holes today. He's +6.
Oh,
back
man.
even.
Oh, man, that is something. Tell us a little bit about what I had it on the end of my tongue, but there are a lot of guys out there that have a good story to tell. Koepka is one of them, no question about it. Somebody told me that Tiger, one of the reasons he's been able to come back is that he went back to some of his older clubs, that he'd won with. And
well, I mean, it's all about technology today, though. I mean, make these, guys that manufacture these clubs, the newest technology changes, and guys need this, guys need that. I mean, you'd have to ask a real golf expert or a golfer to really tell you kind of what they're looking for. Will Matthews could probably help you a lot as far as that.
Well, and of course, these guys hit it so far. They don't really have to work with just maybe the eight iron down. When you say that 8 iron down, you don't ever see anybody hitting a 7 iron or 6 iron or 5 iron or 4 iron, unless it's a par
It's
three.
amazing just how far they can hit the ball off clubs now.
Yeah.
I mean, guys can hit their 5 irons 220 yards.
Yeah. And they're hitting their wedges 150. You know what I'm saying? That's just, they hit it so far that most of them have about 150, 160 yards on their second shot, and most of the time it's one of the low-level clubs, 8 iron down.
Of course, what time will the football game start today?
The football games will start today at 3 o'clock with the Florella going up against, let's see, Florella is playing, what am I doing here? Florella goes up
against
Isabella. And of course, Isabella, what do we know about Isabella within the last 5 years? This is another cup of coffee. Who came out of Isabella that was an outstanding player for Troy University at one time?
Oh, me. I don't know.
He was a baseball player.
I don't know.
All right, do you remember the state strikeout leader of all time in high school baseball?
And he played at Isabella?
He was from Isabella High School. He came to Troy to play for Troy University. And he was the leading strikeout person in Alabama State baseball history.
I can't remember his name.
Well, I can't exactly remember his name, but he came out of Isabella. And he was a strikeout champion, Mike. And, of course, he played at Troy and had a pretty good career,
Well, Troy needs some of those guys to come now. They need all the pitching they can get.
All right. Now, I will give you another little trivia. The team that just won the championship, and I'm just doing it out of my computer up here, ladies and gentlemen, what left of it. This guy came to Troy after a record-breaking home run career in high school.
What, Wade Miller?
Wade Miller. How many did he hit? Do you know? His senior year?
I don't know. I'd have to look and see. I think he hit 21 year at Troy.
Well, he hit 30 his senior year at Long High School. He hit 30 home runs, and later came and played for Troy. Both those boys played at Troy, and they were both good players and great people. The big guy, the big brother who coaches the team here, he played first base at Troy and was really a good player. And so was Wade.
Play tonight at 6:30 tomorrow at 3. You said the Trojan Tour will be tonight?
Yeah, it starts about 5 o'clock in Mobile tonight at 8. There's a famous restaurant down there. There's one in Birmingham named
Wenzel's?
No, the former Miami Dolphin great owns.
Oh, Baumhauer's.
Baumhauer's, what do they call it?
Well, they used to call it Baumhauer's, but now it's called Victory Grill, I think.
Okay, I thought this is a chain restaurant, Mike.
Well, that's what they used to call it, Baumhauer's Wings.
Yeah, all right. What is the other wings that is big chain?
Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings on University Drive.
That's the worst food I've ever had in my life.
And this would be a great trip. I promise you to go down and eat, and all of it's free, and hear these coaches, and after that go to the ballpark and see Troy play South Alabama. Be a great 1 or 2 night trip. They play again on Saturday. It'd be a lot of fun to go down there. Of course, Mike, it's official now. The final score of the Charles Henderson Callaway game was 29-19 in favor of Charles Henderson. they did not count. They counted the 3 quarters as being the varsity game. So Charles Simpson won that game 29-19. And their second group.
How can you say that though? I mean, let them finish the whole game if you're going to come out and say.
What they did.
3 quarters.
Well, what they did. Well, you can say limited to 3 quarters, but the agreement was they would play their varsities for 3 quarters, and then they would play the backup kids, second and third string backup.
And then you're saying that they didn't play their 5-star running back and probably held out some other guys. It makes you wonder what the score really would have been.
Again, he didn't play, but let me tell you this: Charles Henderson was very impressive defensively. Their secondary, Charles Henson's secondary made play after play after play. They were really, I think they had 3 or 4 interceptions. And,
well, we can talk about baseball. Major League Baseball, of course, is going on. We never really mention it anymore, but we'll give you the latest standings in the American League East. You got Tampa Bay, a big surprise, leading the New York Yankees in the East by half a game. Red Sox, who struggled to start the season, are only 4 back now. In the Central, you got the Minnesota Twins running away with it, 28-15. Second in that division is Cleveland Indians. In the West, you got the Houston Astros, 29-15. They're running away from Seattle, who's already 8 games back. So Houston looks like they're going to win that. National League, you got the Philadelphia Phillies. Of course, they made the big trade for Bryce Harper. They're 1.5 games above the Braves. The Braves are 23-21. In the Central, you got the Chicago Cubs, 25-16. They're a half a game above Milwaukee Brewers. And out west, the Dodgers are off to a hot start, 29-16. They're 4.5 up on the Arizona Diamondbacks. So it's hard to believe that Major League Baseball has already played 45 to 46 games already.
No question about it. I want to mention, of course, Mike, we look at all this, and a great opportunity this weekend would be to go to Atlanta to see the Braves play. The Braves play at home. They play at home starting tonight, Mike, and then they go all the way through Sunday, playing at home. Pretty good opportunity to see the Braves play.
Yeah, of course, they got the new stadium, SunTrust Field. It's a little bit out of downtown, and I hear good things about it. So it would be fun for somebody to take their kids over there. Of course, it's a lot easier to go to a Biscuits game up in Montgomery as well. So hopefully people go out and support them.
No question about it. And let me tell you, the Biscuits, you try to go to the one. It's a beautiful ballpark to begin with, but their food is just outstanding. They have that bratwurst type sausage, Mike, that is just wonderful. And it's a great place to go watch a ball game, take kids. But I think this, of course, there's going to be a lot of people doing the same thing, going to a Braves game.
When is school actually out? Is this next week, the last week?
I want to say that. I'm thinking that's going to be.
I'm just trying to prepare myself. Living down here at the beach now. Beach week is always a nightmare. There's so many people down here.
Yeah, no question about it. We appreciate you so much.
I'll run to the grocery store early next week.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, and I hope you have a great weekend. And don't overdo it, man. Don't stay out in that sun too much. You'll have what I have on my wrist right now, a little skin cancer. You got to be careful. Staying out in the sun too much.
Did you get that removed?
Yeah, had it removed, and it's not
good luck with your voice this weekend, man. That's going to be a long weekend.
Thank you, Doug Layton, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
How many games are you going to call? 3?
The Alabama partisan across the way. What now?
How many games will you call today?
I'm gonna do whatever Troy Cable needs for me to do. Let me tell you, I'm a Steve Camp man, and if he asks me to do something, I'm gonna do it. And one thing is, this is a very successful event, and I want somebody that can bring that when these kids, these people, these families are watching the game on television, there's a guy at least excited about both teams being there. So
what about that comedy duo, Wally and Neal? What are they going to do? They're going to be calling new games?
Well, they already have called the games, and they're a great pair. In fact, it would tickle me.
I wish I could have seen the wrestling match they did. I heard they were down there commentating wrestling.
I bet they were good too, especially your buddy I will say this, that they do a great job, and I appreciate them in any of the games they want to do this weekend. But they've got lives, too. They got young kids that they have to follow around. And one of them, I think, had to worry about a game that he was had to go to that had to do with road trip baseball. Well, that's what I call it, road trip baseball. Huh?
The what, like travel ball?
Yeah, I call it road trip baseball. Costs a lot of money.
If they're in town supporting the Special Olympics as well, you can't ask for
and again, you're exactly right.
Of a thing to do to go out and support those kids.
You're exactly right, and they're still looking for volunteers. If you'd like to do something special this weekend, get up with the folks with the Special Olympics and say, I'd like to volunteer my time, and they would love to have you, because it is over 1,000 young kids coming to Troy, Alabama this weekend, bringing their mamas, their daddies, their grandmamas, their granddaddies, their aunts and their uncles, and their brothers and their sisters, and a few other neighbors so they want to come. But it is wonderful, wonderful event. It is the State Special Olympics, and it's hosted by Troy University, Troy, Alabama. Hope you've enjoyed watching our game, our show today on Facebook. Facebook around the country, throughout the world. You can go to TC, Tom Cat 2, Troy Cable 2, TC2, and watch us live from Troy Cable. Now, if you're on Channel 2, you can watch the game today starting at 3 o'clock or 2:45, and then the night game will start around 6:15, 6:30, whatever time is available there.
Does Troy Cable reach out to these teams that are coming in and let their fans that can't come, or parents and loved ones that can't come?
I don't know how
these games are live on Facebook so they can view it.
That's right. I don't know how do we do that?
Yeah, we talk to the coaches.
They talk to the coaches. The coaches know, and of course I got a list of coaches, Mike, that are here, and it's something that maybe I'll pass on to you real quick here, because you will remember some of these guys that are here's some of the coaches, and see if you know any of these guys. One of the coaches is Willie Spears, who is at Bullock County, and we don't have a score of that game. Did Bullock County win? Jim Bob Strickland of Geneva County. Bart Snyder team beat them, and of course he's a coach at Goshen. Pete Wiggins is the coach at Callaway, Georgia. Brad McCoy is the event coordinator and the head coach at Charles Henderson. Tim Perry, Mike, quite a good football coach at Wetumpka.
Yeah.
Eldridge Hill is the head coach at Paul Bryant. I don't know much about him, but you might know this guy, Josh Floyd, who's the head coach at Hewitt-Trussville.
I mean, I've seen him before, and I probably have met him.
And of course, Joel Harbin, the head coach of Early County. And Mike, for a 2A school in Georgia, they dressed 90 players. They were very impressive. Brian Montgomery is the coach at Columbia, Georgia High School. Toby Green is now the coach at Florella.
Boy, I mean, the Troy University coaches, I wonder if they can just sit in the stands or sit in the press box and just watch all these kids.
Now, I told people going into last night's game that beware of Bullock County High School, that they have a new coach. And the last couple of years, Mike, I don't know if you noticed, but they got better and better.
Yeah.
Well, they beat a good Slocum team last night, 31-17. So look out for Bullock County High School of Union Springs.
They've always had the athletes.
You're exactly right. In fact, it's the best indication of you get your athletes out for football. You know, everybody.
It's also a good indication to have actual coaching. You know, to get good coaching to coach these guys as well.
No question about it. And of course, we appreciate all of these guys bringing their teams to Troy and spending money. Martez Edwards is the head coach at Meridian, Mississippi, and they'll be playing Colquitt County, Georgia, and the coach is Justin Rogers. Have you ever heard of him, Justin Rogers? And of course, Josh Floyd is the head coach at Hewitt-Trussville, and their big ball game earlier on Saturday. In fact, let me give it to you real quick here. Won't take but a second, and let you know exactly who's left to play tonight. Starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock, you got Florella versus Isabella at 3. Your night game, the big game tonight, is Wetumpka versus Paul Bryant. Wetumpka, very good, 6:30 start. On Saturday, a triple hitter. Hewitt Trustful, strong 7A program out of Birmingham. Wouldn't you say that, Mike? And then Robert E. will play Robert E. Lee of Montgomery. At 3 o'clock, Cordova, very good 3A school, going up against W.S. Neal of Bruton. That's 3 o'clock. And then the finale on Saturday pits two of the outstanding teams in America, Colquitt County, Georgia versus Meridian, Mississippi. And that's the highlight game Saturday night at 6:30. And we'll be bringing it to you live on Troy Cable. Remember, this is a Steve Count production, Troy Cable's Spring Football Classic 2019. Hope you have a great weekend and you'll come out and watch a lot of football. And also, it would be a great deal to recommend or to allow your time for the Special Olympics. It would help them a lot. Have a great weekend.